That's a cultural difference. That's not a race difference. That's just that motion.
So I feel very blessed to be a part of something that seems to be very important to a lot of people, including myself.
So whatever the movements are, whether you agree with them or don't, they have the right to express themselves. So that's one of the great things about being in this country, that you do have the right to protest.
Denzel Washington has had enough. After hearing Rachel Zegler's cringeworthy comments for way too long, he has finally spoken up and totally humiliated her. Now, Denzel is known for never holding back when it comes to calling things out. He does not sugarcoat anything, and that's exactly why Hollywood both fears and respects him. So what did he say about Rachel Zegler? And what on earth did she do to drive him to the edge? Let's find out. Destroying Rachel Zegler. Now let's start with the basics. Rachel Zegler is starring in Disney's live-action Snow White, and right from the beginning, this project has been a disaster waiting to happen. First off, Disney's choice to cast Zegler raised a lot of eyebrows. Snow White, as we all know, is a character rooted in European folklore, and she is described as having skin as white as snow. So when Disney decided to cast a Latina actress in the role, the backlash was immediate, and Denzel saw it coming a mile away. During one of his interviews, Denzel didn't mince his words when asked about the casting decision. He basically said, "Why mess with a classic? There is a reason these stories stand the test of time, and it is not by rewriting history to fit today's trends." That's Denzel for you, always keeping it real and not afraid to call out Hollywood's obsession with being trendy at the expense of good storytelling. But the thing is, Denzel's problem is not with diversity or inclusion. He is all for it when it is done right. But this just felt like Disney was trying to force something that didn't make sense for the character. And when Zegler started commenting on how the old Snow White was outdated and needed a revamp, Denzel could not help but shake his head. In one particularly candid interview, he said that if you don't respect the source material, why are you even doing the project? And he has got a point. The original Snow White has been a beloved story for generations. So why turn it into something completely different just for the sake of being modern? Denzel is not about that life, and he is not afraid to say so. And let's talk about Zegler's comments, because she really dug herself into a hole with this one. During press interviews, she openly criticized the original Snow White, calling it outdated and saying that the prince was a stalker. That's right, Zegler basically called out the whole romantic plotline of the original movie, saying it didn't sit well with today's audience. Now, Denzel could not resist roasting her for that. In a quick chat with a reporter, he laughed and said that she called the prince, what now? A stalker? It is a fairy tale, not a documentary. And honestly, he is right. Fairy tales are supposed to be fantastical, and trying to apply modern standards to a story from the 1930s just seems like a stretch. But it didn't stop there. Zegler went on to say that the new version of Snow White would focus on leadership and empowerment, and that the love story would take a back seat. According to her, the original plot was too simple for today's audiences. Now here's where Denzel's wisdom comes in handy. He is all for strong, empowered female characters, but he is also a firm believer in storytelling that stays true to its roots. He said that you don't need to rewrite a classic to make it relevant. Some stories are timeless because of their simplicity. You can feel the burn. Denzel is not saying empowerment is bad. He is saying there is a way to do it without dismantling everything that made the story great in the first place. He has seen Hollywood make this mistake too many times, where they take a well-loved story and strip away everything that made it work, all in the name of modernity, and he is not here for it. Denzel's commentary didn't stop at the casting or the changes to the plot, though. He also had something to say about Zegler's apparent attitude toward the whole project. When asked about her decision not to watch the original Snow White, Zegler shrugged it off, saying she didn't think it was relevant to her portrayal of the character. Denzel, as you can imagine, had thoughts on that. He said that's like signing up to play Hamlet and deciding Shakespeare is not worth your time. If you are going to step into a role that iconic, you better understand what made it iconic in the first place. And that's exactly it. Denzel is all about doing your homework and respecting the legacy of the characters you play. So what does this all mean for Zegler? Well, Denzel's reaction has certainly made things worse for her. Hollywood has been quick to defend Zegler, but fans? Not so much. They are siding with Denzel, and it is not hard to see why. People want authenticity. They want actors who respect the material and bring something fresh to the table without completely overhauling it. Denzel has been in the industry long enough to know how these things play out. He has seen Hollywood fall into the trap of trying to stay relevant by making unnecessary changes, and he is calling it out for what it is: a mistake. When asked if he had any advice for Zegler, he said that don't bite the hand that feeds you. These classics are what made Disney, Disney. Respect them. And there it is, the final mic drop moment. Denzel does not sugarcoat it. He is not here for the fluff or the trendy Hollywood takes. He wants to see good storytelling that honors the past while finding ways to resonate with the present. And when actors step into iconic roles like Snow White, he expects them to understand the weight of that responsibility. Rachel Zegler might still be trying to defend her choices, but Denzel has already moved on. He has said his piece, and Hollywood might want to start listening, because if there is one thing Denzel's proven time and time again, it is that he knows what audiences actually want: the secret agenda. After criticizing Rachel Zegler, Denzel continued to comment on Disney's not-so-smart choices. Let's start with the most obvious problem. Where on earth are the seven dwarfs? Disney decided that one of the most beloved parts of the original movie was not good enough for today's audience. Instead, they thought about replacing them with some CGI creatures. And that's where Denzel comes in with his first jab. He said that we are going to replace iconic characters with a bunch of pixelated animals? Genius. Truly innovative. He said this sarcastically in a recent interview. You can practically hear the mockery dripping from his voice. Fans were not happy, and Denzel knew exactly why. The seven dwarfs are more than just side characters. They are integral to the story. Everyone loves Dopey, Grumpy, and the rest of the gang. Their quirky personalities, their emotional connection to Snow White, and the comedic relief they bring are what made the 1937 animated movie so magical. But no, Disney thought it would be a good idea to toss them aside for some CGI stand-ins. Denzel was not impressed, and neither were the fans. He said that Disney is trying to fix what's not broken, and if you are going to make changes, at least make them good. And yes, fans rightfully lost their minds over the absence of the dwarfs. Disney did what Disney does best: backtracked. They decided to add the dwarfs back in after all, but by then it was too little, too late. Fans saw right through the move, and Denzel had no sympathy for the studio's poor decision-making. He said that Disney is now just trying to cover up the mess they made. You don't get brownie points for fixing a mistake you never should have made. But it was not just the absence of the dwarfs that had people scratching their heads. The CGI versions that Disney finally revealed? Let's just say it didn't help. Fans were quick to mock the awkward, uncanny valley look of the dwarfs, with some even comparing them to characters from Shrek. You know it is bad when your animation is being compared to a parody. Denzel could not resist throwing in his 2 cents. He said that he did not know if he was watching Snow White's trailer or some kind of DreamWorks knockoff. What is this? Then, as if the situation was not already spiraling, Peter Dinklage entered the drama with his own take. He was not thrilled with the idea of Disney telling what he called an outdated, problematic story about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. His issue was with the portrayal of dwarfism in the movie. Dinklage slammed Disney for trying to be progressive by casting Rachel Zegler as a Latina Snow White, while still keeping what he saw as a backward portrayal of dwarf characters. And Denzel was all ears. He gets where Dinklage is coming from, but his issue is not with the existence of the dwarfs, it is with Disney's handling of the whole situation. Denzel said that you want to talk about a representation, fine, but don't replace the characters altogether. That's not progress, that's just erasure. He was not here for Disney's attempt to sweep things under the rug by tossing the Seven Dwarfs out of the story entirely. But it was not just Dinklage who had thoughts on the matter. Actor Dylan Postal, better known as WWE's Hornswoggle, fired back at Dinklage. He accused him of taking opportunities away from actors with dwarfism by calling for the removal of the dwarfs. Postal argued that this move cost a lot of actors valuable roles that could have showcased their talent in a major Hollywood film. Denzel weighed in on this too and said, why not just let the actors play the roles? Why all the drama? He hit the nail on the head that Disney could have cast actors with dwarfism and stayed true to the original story. But instead, they dug themselves into a deeper hole by trying to appease everyone and ending up pleasing no one. And can we talk about the heavy reliance on CGI in this movie? Denzel could not help but roll his eyes at the overuse of green screens and computer-generated effects. The original Snow White had that timeless, hand-drawn quality that made it feel magical. This new version, well, it is starting to look like another soulless, digital Hollywood cash grab. Denzel said that you cannot just slap some CGI on it and expect people to fall in love with the story all over again. Where's the heart? Fans could not agree more. They have been quick to point out that this version of Snow White looks more like a video game than a beloved fairy tale. It is missing the charm, the warmth, the enchantment that made the original such a classic. And for what? To modernize something that didn't need modernizing in the first place? And Denzel's final dig at Disney is about what all of these changes represent. Disney, in its desperate attempt to stay relevant, has been walking a fine line between updating its classics and completely losing the essence of what made them special. But with the Snow White remake, they have crossed that line. Denzel said that they had taken something that was timeless and made it forgettable. The fans don't want woke culture forced into every corner of their favorite stories. They just want the magic back, and he is absolutely right. Fans are not just upset about the dwarfs or the CGI, they are frustrated with how Disney has drifted away from what made them great in the first place. The balance between modernization and staying true to the heart of a story has been lost, and Denzel Washington, with his years of experience and insight, is not afraid to call them out for it. The new drama. Now, if the previous drama was not enough, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot decided to fight on Twitter. And what's driving Denzel up the wall is that these two stars are dragging politics into what should have been a simple fairy tale. Denzel said, "Why is everyone gotta make everything about politics?" The whole drama started when Zegler, who has been very vocal about her pro-Palestinian views, decided to fire a public shot at Gal Gadot, who is, of course, Israeli. You could almost hear Denzel sigh from across the industry when Rachel dropped her "Free Palestine" tweet right after the trailer for Snow White was released. It was not exactly subtle, and everyone knew who that was aimed at, Gal. Instead of promoting the movie, they were out here fighting political wars on Twitter. And Denzel was not having it. He said that he did not care what side of the issue they were on, but this was just unprofessional. You don't take your political views and dump them on a movie like Snow White. It is a fairy tale, for crying out loud. His mockery of the situation didn't stop there. He was baffled by the idea that these two actresses would even let this conflict bleed into their work. He said that he was just trying to imagine the press tour. What are they gonna do? Debate foreign policy in between takes, Denzel said, laughing at the absurdity of it all. And the thing is, Denzel gets it. Everyone has a right to their opinions and their political stances. But what he does not get is why these two stars thought this was the time or the place to hash it out. He said that there is a time and a place for everything, and this ain't it. But it was not just Zegler causing problems. When Gal Gadot's team clapped back with a tweet shading Rachel, saying something about not campaigning on the head of someone who has lived through war, it became crystal clear that this was not just an on-screen pairing that was not working. This was a full-blown drama that had spilled out for the world to see. Denzel could not help but point out how childish it all seemed. He said that you would think these two could keep it together for the sake of the movie. But here they are, trading shots like they are on some reality TV show, instead of working on a multi-million-dollar project. And let's not forget about the fans in all this chaos. While Rachel and Gal were busy battling it out, the people who were actually looking forward to the movie? Yeah, they were starting to lose interest and fast. Fans took to social media to voice their frustrations, and many decided to boycott the film entirely. Denzel, as usual, was quick to praise the audience for standing up for what they believed in. He said that people are smart. They see through the nonsense, and they are not going to support something that has become more about personal politics than about making a good movie. In fact, Denzel seemed to fully support the idea of fans boycotting Snow White. He said that if they don't like what's happening, they have every right to walk away. This is not what they signed up for. It's not just the fans who are fed up either. Branding experts are already predicting that this very public spat between Zegler and Gadot is going to leave a mark, and not the good kind. Denzel commented on how the off-screen drama is damaging both the movie and the careers of the actresses involved. He said that this is the kind of thing that sticks. You let something like this overshadow the project, and it is hard to come back from. And Disney? Well, they have to be pulling their hair out by now. What was supposed to be a progressive reimagining of a classic has turned into a political minefield. Denzel could not help but mock the entire situation, joking that no amount of Disney magic could clean up this mess. He said that they wanted a hit, and they got a headache instead. But it is not just the politics that are ruining Snow White. Denzel made it clear that the movie itself was already on shaky ground before any of this drama even hit the public eye. The constant delays, the negative fan reactions to the trailer, and now the feud between the lead actresses, it is all just piling on. This movie has got disaster written all over it, and at this point, it is hard to see how they are going to turn it around. So as fans continue to boycott, and as Rachel and Gal's feud makes more headlines than the movie itself, Denzel Washington is standing on the sidelines, shaking his head in disbelief. He is calling it like he sees it, that Snow White has become a disaster, and it didn't have to be this way. If only the stars had focused on the story, instead of turning the set into a battleground. So whose side are you on? Are you Team Zegler or Team Denzel? Tell us in the comments below. If you want more shocking updates, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because we have got a lot more of this. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.